I think I may have finally figured out how to put my lighting so it's not very much focusing on my glasses to where I look like an anime villain. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy. This series is reviewing romance where I take a romance book, and granted, it's not always going to be a romance book, I think, but where I take a book where romance has a bit of a central theme in it, and I take a couple and I review the romance of it, the relationship. So I'm going to start the series off with The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang, the first in this series. And I'm going to be delving into the relationship of Michael and Stella. If you don't know what The Kiss Quotient is about, then really I'm actually kind of surprised. But it's about Stella. She's a very accomplished young lady who happens to have autism. Stella feels that she's not very good at hanky of panky and thinks that she needs someone to coach her how to do those things, how to have a relationship. She feels that she needs a relationship coach. So she does what any respectable young lady with lots of money and sometimes free time on her hands does. She hires an escort, and that escort happens to be Michael. And that's pretty much a very, in a nutshell, part of the story. So I'm not going to be giving a review of the whole book or the plots. I will say that I liked the book. I'm just going to be focusing on the relationship. And what I decided to do is break down how I see are the necessities of relationship. Okay? So I have chemistry at the forefront. I do think that there needs to be some level of attraction sometimes, at the very least, if not attracted to looks per se, then the person in general. Do you just like them as a person? The second thing is kindness and respect. I actually think in order to be respectful of someone, you have to be kind. I could break down like authoritative respect versus relational respect, but I'm not going to. Just know that in relationships, I feel that if you are respectful, you're also kind. And if you're kind, then you're respectful. So that kind of thing going on. Third is compatibility. So not just are you attracted to someone, but how does your life fit in together? Or do you guys have things in common? Do you do things together? Those kind of things. Then the fourth is communication. So do you guys talk about any issues that are coming up? Do you guys talk about your conflicts, your concerns, your worries, your fears, your hopes, your dreams? And then lastly, I think all of these things lead into the last bit of this, and that is trust. In order to fulfill all these other ones, or at least in order to fulfill trust, you have to have all these other things going into trust. And then I will be giving a heart for each one that they accomplished, and then we'll total up the hearts at the end. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me think. I do hope that stays. Okay, so the first thing that we're talking about is chemistry. Do Stella and Michael have chemistry together? Are they initially attracted to each other, either through looks or in their general demeanor, personality? And I'm actually giving this half a star, and I'll explain why. Or half a star. I'm giving this half a heart. So I gave this half a heart, not because of Michael's attraction to Stella, which I thought was really well done. When he first sees her, he thinks that she's cute. He thinks that she's very professional looking, and in fact, she has that kind of librarian-esque look to her, and he's very attracted to that, though that was kind of this weird moment when we first meet Michael, and he's like, yeah, teacher fantasy. But that's neither here nor there. I felt his attraction to her was on a very genuine scale. And that's not to say that Stella's attraction to him isn't genuine. It's just the reason why she picked him and that she was attracted to him, and the reason why she wanted him as her coach is because he, I guess, resembles a star in the K-drama world. Not the worst reason to say that you're attracted to someone. I just thought that was kind of a little weird, and I hate to say it's this, but kind of hokey. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in romance. I think that you're allowed to be hokey in romance. It's just for that chemistry, for that initial attraction kind of thing, I thought it was a little bit of a cop-out, a little bit hokey for Stella's attraction to Michael. Okay, so for kindness and respect, I'm putting a definite full heart here. This was, I think, one of the best parts about them falling in love and having a relationship together. So though there was that initial attraction, and I didn't feel it was too insta-lovey, I didn't feel it was insta-love when they first meet. In fact, it's through the kindness that they have with one another that blossoms into love. And I thought that was actually really a beautiful thing in this kind of romance. Michael is continually transfixed by the fact that Stella keeps thinking about him and his comfort, his needs. Like, she tells him, "Is there anything that you want me to do? Like, do you want me to have breath mints before we kiss and stuff like that?" And he's very surprised by this because usually when people hire him services, they're not thinking about his needs; they're thinking about just their own, right? So he's continually awed by that, and Stella continually thinks about his wants and his needs as well, and what he wants to do. She does not judge the fact that he is an escort at all. Rather, Stella thinks of it as a very practical means. Like, hey, if you have the looks, then why not put yourself as an escort? And that's actually one of the most endearing qualities that Stella has. And Michael sees that. So that's a really nice way for Michael to see that kindness. And then at the same time, in that same hand, Michael is very kind to Stella as well. So while he's teaching her things like kissing or teaching, but while they're kissing and everything, he's always thinking about her body language, whether or not she actually wants to keep going, and that kind of thing, because Stella's past of the guys that she slept with before didn't think about her wants and her needs as far as the bedroom goes. They just rather like wham bam thank you ma'am and was out of there. So it's this refreshing change for Stella that Michael thinks about her wants, her comforts, her needs, and whether or not she's actually enjoying herself. That if she stiffens up and if she stops responding, then he stops and he asks her, is this something that you want? Is this something that you want me to keep going? You know what? You look uncomfortable. We're not going to do that. So he very much keeps her in mind as far as that kind of thing goes. And that extends beyond the bedroom, too. That also extends into social situations. A very good example of how to be kind and respectful towards a partner, even if this is just someone you're sleeping with. Like, if this is not someone that you're having a full-fledged relationship with, that you can still be kind and still be thoughtful and still, keep that person into consideration. Now, I put half a heart here. I broke off. I was in the middle of going to explain why I think it deserves half a heart, but I'm actually changing my mind and giving it full heart now that I am thinking more about their story. And the reason why I decided to change my mind is because as I was thinking about their both of them like very different things as far as their hobbies. Stella is very much into calculation, numbers, and figuring out trends and that kind of thing, algorithms. And Michael has kind of one passion and then another one that's a hobby. He does karate as a hobby kind of thing. And as a passion, he makes clothes. And as I said, I was going to put this as half a heart because that's two completely different things. But both of them love the other one as far as when they're in their element. Like when Michael is making clothes, Stella's very much entranced by the fact that he's making these wonderful items. And when Stella's talking about her algorithms and her work, Michael is very much, oh my gosh, this is great that she's talking about her work. They very much love the other's passions. And I think that's really important. You don't need to have the same likes in order to be compatible. You can have different hobbies and different passions and still be a very good couple and still be a very good as far as compatibility range. So I do change my mind on the half a heart for compatibility, because now that I think back to the story, Michael likes when Stella talks about her work and math, and he likes the fact that she's into all these intellectual, as far as like mathematics goes, that she's into all those things, and she likes his passions too. And granted, I guess I could still say half a heart because their family dynamics are very, very different, and that can be a little bit weird, but they managed to work through it. So I'm not going to give half a heart for compatibility. I was going to originally, but you know what? It's a full heart. So then we're on communication. Now, granted, at the beginning of most relationships, I think that there's this not great communication between two people. And especially in romance novels, when you're looking for that conflict and it's predicated upon two people not telling each other their like deepest, darkest kind of secret things. So I'm basing this off the main bulk of the story, which is them not telling each other, about themselves. Like, Stella is very much afraid of telling Michael that she has autism because she thinks that he's going to treat her differently than how he has been, or that he's not going to want to be with her. And Michael very much doesn't want to tell Stella the reasons why he got into escorting. So there is that, and it does cause a point of contention, which it can be really silly when you think about it after you read the story. But afterwards, I'm pretty sure that they probably work those things out. So it's probably a full heart after, the story ends or whatever. But just based on what the story is, I'm putting half a heart because, they were ridiculous and they didn't talk to one another. And then the last one is trust. So I gave a full heart to trust, even though they didn't communicate with each other as far as their separate issues. And I don't, not to say that Stella's autism is an issue, I actually don't think that at all, but in her mind, she kind of thinks that it's a issue with other people, and it may well be. Like, people's perceptions can bog a person down when it comes to those kind of labels. So, I get it, Stella, I get it. But they do trust each other as far as all the other things, like that kindness and respect, and that respecting each other's passions. I believe that they trust each other, and that they trust, like, especially at the end, all this that went on with each other, that they trusted each other at that end piece. So I'm going with it. Could have gave it half a heart. We're not. No. Not going back on this. So that leaves the total hearts at 4, which I think is really good. They had their trials and tribulations. Also, thank you, Sasha, at Well Read and Half Dead, for buddy reading this with me. It was so much fun to kind of, burst forth with our emotions about the story and how much we loved the relationship as it was going on. It was very, very fun, and anytime you want to read a romance with me, girlfriend, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. Or if you like seeing this face talk about books, hit that subscribe button. But if you have anything that, a comment, concern, question, if you read this book, you can put it down in the comments below. And as always and forever, may you get lost in a book.